Welcome one, welcome all. Today, the World Circus brings us the 04.5 GMC Sierra 2500 HD with the 6.6 liter Duramax diesel LLY. Also, I believe the only model year that I've ever seen come with the electro extendo turn signal mirror doohickey-dillies. I am Keeney. I'll be your ringleader today. And on this vehicle, the story goes it is currently a crank no start. Before it was a crank no start, the vehicle was being driven through a parking lot at low speed when the engine immediately stalled. No odd sounds were heard at the time of stall. Over past few days of driving, a rattling sound had become increasingly noticed at low vehicle speeds, but disappeared upon vehicle acceleration. Approximately 500 miles ago, there was a water and fuel message that was observed. A couple of notes from the owner. The low coolant message does come up, but he said the engine is actually not low on coolant. I did a pre-inspection on this old girl, and the coolant is actually a bit low. We'll keep that in our back pocket for now, but he's had a history, apparently, of that message. The ABS light is on, and the fuel gauge is in op. So that is what I mostly know about this truck. It is, in fact, a crank no start. The only thing that I noticed when bringing it in, dragging it in, pushing it in, is when we key on, check engine light does come on. However, the glow plug lamp does not come on. And it's been a while since I've been in one of these, but they should have a glow plug lamp in there somewhere, but I did not see it. And I cycled the key a few times, and it never come up. So I don't know if that has anything to do with what we're dealing with or not, but let us start in the normal place. We will grab a scan tool. We will plug her in. We will do scan report and begin the 3-ring ordeal, and y'all can watch. I don't remember if I introduced myself. I feel like sometimes I should because new people join. I'm Keeney. I'm the, dude who does the stuff at the Keeney Garage, and the stuff that we're doing today is going to be this old truck. Let's go ahead and get plugged into her and see what she pulls up. Well, you've got our scan results. We've got, looks like, wait to start lamp control circuit, glow plug module control circuit. Very interesting. I don't know if that would cause it to not run or just not start easily. We'll keep that in mind. Looks like some speed sensor stuff, class 2 stuff, loss of comm with ECM, but that's for the inflation module deal. Some driver seat stuff, HVAC stuff. Why is that one? Well, looks like we found a bug in the auto. Apparently this one won't show us any codes. Well, that's weird. Now I'm really curious. Let's see what happens if we go here. Oh, that's hilarious. That doesn't give it to us back here. Well, I suppose we will perhaps write auto again. I'll say at least they're decent about working with you and seeing the issues. But in any case, we are going to save this scan report, clear everything, see what shows back up, and pick a path. After our code clear, we got the wait to start coming back on, speed sensor, the oat. That seems to be about it. Let's jump into some powertrain stuff here and see what I can find. I'm going to tell you that I 100% may have already screwed up. What I should have done is check freeze frame for them codes we just cleared to see if perhaps the glow plug module code had originated back back when the guy was driving it around. So that was my bad. I screwed the pooch on that one, but I'm sure we'll still figure out what's up with her. Just looking at some preliminary data here, it looks like we're getting most of the things to the engine like we're supposed to for fueling. We can see, I will say though, the actual fuel rail pressure, that top one there, seems to not quite hit the desired, which is the third one, but we've got engine speed, we've got mass airflow sensor, like all these are changing. So if I just go ahead and crank it, you can watch. And then they go back down. I'm curious right now then, I'm going to poke around the scan tool just a little bit more. Might be going out of fuel, especially since he did say, I think we covered it, said the fuel gauge don't work. That is also confirmed in here. If we do a show all, there's right there, fuel level, sensor, percentage, voltage. It's open. It's at 5 volts, 0%. So definitely agree he doesn't have an accurate gauge because, something in that circuitry. However, do we actually have fuel in the tank? He said he filled it up, not long before he drove it, but who knows? Maybe, I guess somebody could have stolen it out of it. It's possible. I'm going to do that. I'm going to roll up under the vehicle. I'm going to knock on the tank, and then this one should have, if memory serves, a fuel prime on the filter housing deal where you can like loosen the screw and hit the prime button if it works. This thing's got like 290 some thousand miles on it. I don't know if the prime's going to work or not. I think let's do that. Let's actually see if we do have fuel in this old girl. We got you awkwardly positioned in the engine bay. We got the fuel pump primer dealy. We got the plastic nut that hopefully doesn't break. Oh, it did come loose, or at least it seemed to. Well, that's good news. Seems to be coming loose all right. I'll swap over to just this. Unscrew her a little bit. Shouldn't need to pull it all the way out. Oh, well, she came all the way out. Well, that's not what I wanted, but I think it'll be all right. Let's go ahead and hit the prime button. I did not read service information on this. I'm operating from memory, and so I don't know. I do not know if this is what I'm supposed to be doing or not. Maybe I should have read service information. But I'm pretty sure when you start pumping this dude like this, we're supposed to get fuel coming out of there, out of that little hole. So either we got something going on or this. Oh, wait, I can feel her. She's changing. Maybe not. I wonder if oh, there she goes. See, she's bubbling. Now we got a fuel prime. Interesting. I wonder if we got a supply fuel problem. She's bubbly too, like she's been aerated. See her? She's a little bubbly. Well, it's hard to see because you're in a super awkward spot. But all right, let's put this thing back in and let's continue to pump this dude up and see if we can get her to cough and spit and sputter. I'd be curious if we do this manually and she kind of coughs and spits and sputters, then I think we might be going after a supply problem. And I think I'm going to get a smaller ratchet so I don't strip that dude. Be right back. Well, thank you for holding. Hope the music was satisfactory. Loosen her up a little bit. I'm wondering, we might be able to get 2 birds with 1 stone if he's just got like a fuel pump or something. There, she's just snug. Now let's keep hammering her home, and while I'm doing this, I will talk to us. Oh yeah, I can hear her. I want to make sure she ain't leaking out. I can hear her. Oh, she's leaking out the bottom. Let me show you that. That might be a problem, huh? I don't know what you're going to be able to see. Everything's awkward. She was out of supply fuel for sure. See it dripping? Everything's wet under there. There she is. Well, let's start by I don't know what brand filter that is, but we're just gonna replace all that stuff and then try this prime again. I lied to you. We're gonna try one more thing before we just throw a new filter on there. I'm gonna see if I can't hit the fuel pump, the lift pump. I think I'm going from memory. I should probably look it up. I think this thing's got a lift pump in the fuel tank. I'm gonna see if I can't hit it with the scan tool and see if it'll pressurize it, and also see if it starts leaking out of that same spot. We'll give that a quick go. We're in the PCM active test menu. This thing here says fuel pump. Make sure all lines connected okay. And then I'm also going to, you can probably see it over here. I got some towels underneath of her. You know what, actually? I'm just going to check over here while y'all are watching. Since he said he had that water and fuel, there's a message. I wonder if he just didn't tighten this thing back up. She seems kind of snug underneath. I mean, she tightened just maybe an eighth of a turn. She tightened maybe an eighth of a turn. I don't know if that's going to do anything, but let's hit this on. Fuel pump timer exceeded. I wonder if I waited too long. Let's try it again. All lines are connected. I don't know why the timer's exceeded. I can hear a relay clicking over there, but this is kind of annoying. Let's go over here and reprime this again. You can kind of see what I'm doing. You already knew what was up. I'm gonna reprime it since I tightened that up at the bottom. Oh no, she's still peeing out. She's still peeing. So that's we'll do one more check. I know I always say one more check. Let's see if we can't find the fuel pump fuse or relay and do a current measurement and see if that thing is actually drawing current when we crank the engine. I know I always got this habit of saying we're going to try one more thing, one more time, real quick. And then it's pretty much, for those of you who are new, that's pretty much just how my entire video goes. I'm like always thinking of one new thing that I want to test. What I'm going to do before I was going to pull the relay. Can you see what I'm pointing at? You can. This is fuel pump relay. I'm going to, before I yank that thing out of there, because I thought I heard it clicking, I'm going to go back into everything that we just done. I'm going to hit that fuel pump command again, because I heard something clicking. I want to see if this is actually clicking, make sure we got control on it, just for that test. All right, now you can't see. It says our line's connected. They are. And then we're just going to come in here, hit on. Okay, for sure, I felt this click. Let's get this set up with a pedestal mount and take a current measurement. And keeping on with our one more test tradition, I decided to be lazy. We're just going to see if we got power jumping across that dude. I got the pedestal installed. This is looking for power, so when we touch power, she lights. You can see it light. Cool. This is pin 30 right there. This one right here should be pin 87 on this pedestal. Let's hit you can't see, hit the fuel pump button, hit the OK button, and watch, hit the on. Oh, she did. I don't know if you saw on the camera. She blinked. That means we got power going through this thing, which is cool. All right. I don't know why she won't stay long term. Let's do a code scan, see if any new codes popped up. It says timer exceeded. I don't know why it does that. Triple codes, engine, reading, current and history, wait to start, glow plug. I don't know what's up with that. I don't know if it's tool. I don't know what's going on. I think we're right back to where we were, though. Actually, hey, let's keep with the tradition. Let's do the one more test thing. I'm going to leave this right. Please hold. All right, what we got is a little jumper wire run from pin 87 to the test slot. And we'll make sure we still got good connection on our test slot. Hitting power. We do still have good connection on our test slot. Now when I key on, I'll be curious if that lights, and when I crank, I'll be curious if that lights. We are keyed on right now. Let's key off. I can't see the test light from here. There she is. We'll key on. Nothing. We'll crank. Nothing. Well, I'd say that is an issue for sure. That thing should be lit up. Let's do another test. Let's see what happens when we actually jump 30 and 87. We'll put a fuse in line. So now I'm going to actually have to go to service information. We're going to grab a fuse. We're going to jump 30 and 87 with a fuse or a breaker, probably a breaker. And we'll see if we start squirting fuel out of the filter housing over there if we do a manual jump. All right, pay attention. We got pin 30 right here, which should have power to it at all times, which it does have power to it at all times. Pin 30 goes through our amp clamp. Our amp clamp goes into this doohickey Y cable, which goes into this thing, which feeds into our breaker. Can you see all this? This is our 20 amp circuit breaker, because according to the wiring diagram, there's a 20 amp fuse. And then out of that, back to our little Y dilly, and then into this. So when I connect the two of these together, we should get a spike on the screen and probably some leakies over on the other side. We'll see how she goes. Let's connect her up. Nothing. For real, for real? Nothing. Is our breaker tripped? Our breaker's not tripped. Well, that might be why she's... Well, let me think. Well, either we got an open, well, either this doohickey deal is broken, or we got an open from here to the pump somewhere. What I'm going to do is do that again. So I believe nothing happened. Nothing happens. Then we should, if our setup here is good with our breaker, we should have power coming on pin 87. Let's see if we have power coming up on pin 87 here. Can you see? You can. We do have power at 87. Well, looky there. We got an open somewheres between this pin right here and apparently the fuel pump. Just because I totally forgot to bring you up to speed. I printed off the wiring diagram. That's all I knew was a 20 amp fuse. Hot at all times, PCMB 20 amp goes through this relay. This is what we're jumping from the relay. It goes straight down to the fuel pump. And just as memory did serve, it says fuel pump auxiliary tank. And so I believe that is in the actual tank itself. So something between this contact point in the relay and this ground point is going to be an issue. I suppose I will look up the ground 110 and roll under the truck and look for fuel pump connections. We'll see which one of those is more easy to get to for our next step. Whichever one's easiest is probably what we're going to go after and split the system that way. I didn't even roll under yet. We just went to the computer, looked at ground 1. There, check that out, and also check out fuel pump wire and see how easy it is to access. All right, you are hanging and dangling from the bottom side of this truck. We have found what we think is ground 110 or whatever that number was. Guess we don't really need a lot. We've got our own powers and grounds jumped in from up under the hood. We're going to do this, and then we're going to connect our test light to this. And then, oh, come on. And then in a perfect world, if I have a good connection, I should be able to get this test light to light right here. Hey, look at there. All right. This should light. Let's do right next to, well, actually everything is going to be lit up here, isn't it? I didn't think about that. We're going to maybe have to pierce this wire in order to actually get to know if the ground is good. But she seems to be, and that's grounded. Let me go in here a little bit. So even right there, right where the insulation meets the open ground, like the open wire part, that's grounded. Let me touch the actual wires. I can see a few of the strands here. I think we got a good ground. I think we're going to have to go into the fuel pump connector next. Here's our, what looks like our fuel pump connector. What's the word? Is it like enhance? Enhance. Oh, she's delayed. Enhance. That looks like our connector right there. It looks like she's got wires going to it. We're going to have to figure out our way up in there, and that's going to be our next test. Right up yonder. Unenhance. Hello, Eric. I found it. I cannot see it, but I felt it. So we dropped the truck down so I could get up in there. Let me see if I can get the camera up in there. One of the wires is disconnected at the connector itself. Let me see if I can get you flipped around and see what's up. I'm looking through the camera, through the phone. See if I can get a light going somehow. This is very awkward. I hope you appreciate the wondrous efforts. So I used my hand and just reached up in there and started feeling stuff. Where are you? You can't see nothing. Come on. This is very difficult. Where is it? Still can't see nothing. Is that it? Can you see? I think you can. My hand is going to be like this phone is right where I need my hand to be. Boom. It's as good as you're going to get. Right there. That's it. She broke. We're going to have to fix. Oh, can't see me. We'll fix that. That was way harder than it should have been. The lock was really a pain. Like, there she is. Oh, you can't see nothing. There she is. She's got the broken wire. I think we should just be able to order a new one of these connectors. We'll plug it in and see what she does. You can't see nothing. I'm holding everything by my hand, but that's our issue right now. We got the new parts delivered. We got the fuel filter. Almost said oil filter. We got the fuel filter. We got the new sensor. We got the new pigtail wiring for the fuel pump. This old girl looks to be a 4-wire, which that's fine. We'll wrap it up in there. We're just throwing these on because I do not screw around with fuel leaks. I do not care what is leaking under there. If it's the filter, if it's the sensor, if it's the O-ring, one of the two, I don't care. It's getting replaced so it ain't gonna leak no more. That's how I operate because I don't play with fuel leaks. Anyway, we'll throw all these things on there and then I'll bring you back once they're installed, and we'll pick up our testing right where we left her off. Apparently, none of this stuff recorded like it was supposed to. Let me catch up real quick. Them 2 wires is the ones that come from the harness, and there's only 2 of them, but the new pigtail has 4 wires, and so I plugged in the 4-wire connector up there because I was going to ohm out the middle 2, which is what those 2 ran to on the old one, and the middle 2 is open. So now I'm super confused as to why. I think 2 of these wires are supposed to go to the pump, 2 of them wires are supposed to go to the sender, but there's only 2 wires in the harness, and now I'm really confused what's happening because it's a 4-pin connector for, like, if you look at a new fuel pump picture, it's got 4 pins. I stuck a borescope camera up there. It's got 4 pins in, like, the tech side, and so I don't know what's happening. I don't know why the wires are the way they are. These 2 are the wrong color according to wiring diagram. Wiring diagram says I think it was a gray and a black, gray power, black ground. There's a purple and a black, but there ain't 4 wires in there. So what I'm going to do is go back up to the relay, and I'm going to jump power from 30 to 87 and see if we get power on one of these 2 wires and make sure that those are actually our pump wires. Relay up under the hood is jump 30 and 87. I got power and ground coming into our test light. Right now, test light is searching for ground. So if it finds ground at lights, you probably ain't going to be able to see much because I'm going to balance you on me. Oh, I don't know how to get you to see this. Please hold. Well, you're balanced on the drive shaft, so it's not as good as I can get you. So this is looking for ground. We should have ground here. We do, oh, you can't see. So we do. Why are you in a bad spot? We do have ground. Now on the test lot, I'm going to change on the other end of the test lot down here. I'm going to switch just to ground. And so now the test lot should be looking for positive. And so when it finds positive, it will light such that when I touch ground again, that you can't see. Oh, this is freaking terrible. Oh, come on. Get your stuff together. So much so that when we touch ground, nothing happens on the test lot. And now this should be power. Maybe. There's no power there. Ah, come on. Getting frustrated. Ow, I just stuck myself with a sharp test light. This is super entertaining. Let me strip this stupid wire back. Make sure I'm getting good contact. Should have grabbed my wire strippers. Okay, I can see copper in there. Again, this thing should be looking for power. And there's no power there. There's no power. You can't see. Come on! There's no power on this wire. I have no idea what this wire goes to. Well, that might change our direction just a little bit. I'm going to have to think for a second. I think I burned myself, and just going to leave this mistake in. This mistake cost me, I think, a little bit of time. What we'll just do is go in and edit the time clock that we've been messing around chasing this fuel pump deal. I don't think this truck has a lift pump in the tank. We went through the wiring diagram where it said that fuel pump was auxiliary or whatever, which is fine. I even went to an 05 because it's 04.5. So I went to an 05, had the same diagram, and then I went to the repair service, like how to remove the fuel pump, and it says pulled off the frame. Well, this ain't got one on the frame. It's just lines run on the frame. There's a cooler back there, or a heater, cooler, whatever you want to call it, back there, right in front of the tank. But now I'm starting to think, and the other thing I did that threw me for a loop is when I went and looked for replacement parts, I looked for fuel pump, and I clicked fuel pump, and it pulled up the normal basket like you see in most fuel tank assemblies. And I was like, okay, cool, there's one in there. And apparently maybe I should have looked closer. I don't think now, this is why we read service information. And I started off on this one just going from memory, and I think it cost me a little bit. That said, I left off right wherever we was doing like power testing back there. I think those are the sending unit wires. What I'm going to do now is prime the system up at the filter, because we got the new filter on, and just see if she starts after we prime her up. We're back here at the filter. Let's crack this nut loose. I guess we can probably just take it all the way off. I don't know that it really matters. Get that old thing off of there. You know, even after I just said what I thought I said, or what I just said to y'all, man, there's a fuel pump relay over there, and it works, and it actuates with the tool. That kind of sucks that everything threw me for a loop if this is the case. That sucks. I don't know. I guess at the end of the day, I'm the one turning wrenches on it, so it's my fault. But at the same time, like, for us to not have fuel here, for it to click on and off on that relay momentarily, I can feel her coming. Like, man, there she's gurgling. All right, can you see some bubbles forming? Let me get my hand out of the way. There's a little bit of bubbles forming. Put this thing back in. We'll give her a whole bunch more primes. I bet you she's going to fire up. I bet you his problem here this whole time was just this fuel leak. And I think he lost his prime. So I don't know if this thing has, like, I don't think this thing has any type of electric pump on the back of the injection pump. I guess I'm going to have to do my research is what I'm saying on this one. Now that that's snugged up, but I'm going to keep this all cut in so you can watch me make mistakes too. We're just going to keep priming this thing up. Oh yeah, she's getting stiff now. Oh yeah, she's stiff. Switch hands. Oh, you're in my way. Okay, she's stiff. Oh, there she goes. Nope. Oh, she got stiff again. I can't even see what's going on. Of course not. She's getting stiff. I'm just priming this thing away. Oh yeah. Okay, she's stiff. Let's make sure nothing's gonna fall in the freaking engine bay. Get all our lights and such and stuff moved out of the way. Make sure our expensive tablet's not gonna fall. Really, this stuff in here, I don't think is gonna matter too much. Let's just see what happens. Let's get in here and give her a little crank and see what happens. Key on. And you can't see nothing. All right, cranking. Nothing. Let's go prime it again. If it don't work after we do it this time around, then I'm just gonna probably do this a couple more times. She got easy on my own, and not just drag you along and see if she eventually fires. Also, apparently glow plugs aren't working, so who knows how easy she's gonna go. But oh man, there it is. Son of a gun. Ah. Well, obviously she runs. We went for a little test drive, and she definitely needs a little bit of other work. But man, I tell you what, these cars will never stop humbling me at all. That one chaps me just a little bit. But hey, I'm human. I make mistakes too. I don't know if any of y'all learned anything useful in this video or not. This diagram is it frustrates me a little bit. Not much I can do about it other than alter my time that I spent on it. So when I run down them wrong rabbit trails like that, I don't charge customer for that. That is obviously my mistake. So we will edit the time so that only the diagnosing from sitting inside the truck to finding the fuel leak to fixing that, replacing that filter and whatnot. And we will review all of the data with him, and as always, see if he wants to do anything else. But with that, I hope this was helpful for somebody. Watch me humble myself, and we'll just throw it out there anyway. If you hate me, hey, you can leave it in the comments. If you don't, hey, you can leave it in the comments. I guess this is what happens when we put real life stuff out on the internet. I just hope it's helpful for somebody out there. If you didn't know, now you know. Now I know. Well, at least now I remember. Like I said, it's been a while since I played with one of those, but I used to play with them a lot, like 10, 15 years ago. But that's it. That's all I got. I'll catch y'all up in the next video.